or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Bruce, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the May 22nd, 2026 issue of the Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Village of Lewiston named a Purple Heart community. Article by Joshua Maloney. Russ Ward, Ron Kroll, Jim Schaller, and Tom Mock of Military Order of the Purple Heart Chapter 264 presented the Village of Lewiston Board of Trustees with a plaque and signage designating the municipality as a Purple Heart community. We have these here plaques in 105 different places all throughout Erie County and Niagara County to honor all of the Americans that were killed and wounded in all of our wars, Ward said at Monday's monthly board meeting. Thank you very much for accepting this. He added, right now we're trying to connect all of our different cities, towns, and villages throughout Erie County and Niagara County. We have Town of Niagara, Niagara Falls. Kroll said as part of our national campaign, we've tried to raise the awareness of sacrifices that veterans make once they put on a uniform. The plaque reads in part, the Purple Heart Medal is given posthumously to loved ones of those killed in American wars and presented to those wounded in combat action of America's wars. We honor the sacrifice they made for us to live in freedom forever. Thank you for your service, Mayor Ann Welch said. We'll make sure we have these posted in our community coming into our village so people will know we're a Purple Heart community. Milling and paving. Department of Public Works Superintendent Anthony Mang provided an update on upcoming road resurfacing work. Milling is scheduled to take place June 11th on Water Street, South Dead End to Onondaga Street, Cayuga Street, Portage Road to North 9th, and Seneca Street, Portage Road to Dead End at the daycare. There is a June 12th rain date. Water Street is to be paved June 22nd, June 23rd rain date, while Cayuga and Seneca Streets will follow June 23rd, June 24th rain date. With regard to how traffic within the business district on Water Street will be affected, Mang said he has high expectations paving will start and finish on the same day. Additional DPW news. The village board signed off on the addition of almost a dozen security cameras for the DPW headquarters on Seneca Street at a total cost not to exceed $8,030. Mang said his department is hiring Blue Ox Roofing to replace a gutter on the west flat roof playground side of the red brick municipal building. Ice built up behind the existing gutter last winter, causing water-related damage. Both projects will be funded through remaining monies in the 25-26 budget. In other news, trustees approved motions okaying the purchase price of $1,500 per niche for the columbarium wall at the Village of Lewiston Cemetery on Cayuga Street. There are 24 niches available. Historian Russ Piper said each unit could hold one full-sized urn or 2 cremation boxes. Any graving would be at the purchaser's additional expense. Permitting the annual trick-or-treat on Center Street, which this year will take place from noon until 3 p.m. Sunday, October 25th, along Center Street, 6th to 4th Streets, and in Hennepin Park. Youngstown residents vote for change. Article by Benjamin Joe. Youngstown voters opted for change on Tuesday as unofficial election numbers show almost 2/3 of the people chose the challengers over the incumbent board. Rick Stortecki, an incumbent trustee who ran for mayor, found himself bested by Mike Daddario, a former history teacher, by a count of 332 to 148. D'Addario said he was surprised by his margin of victory, expecting the vote totals to be closer. He said he is excited to see what's next. The first thing I'm doing is to learn about all the processes we need to go through and listen to people to find out what they want done, D'Addario said Wednesday. In the trustee race, Colleen Mary Somerville and Stephen Suter, who with D'Addario ran on the We the People party line, also took seats from the incumbent mayor, Rob Reisman, who was running for a trustee position instead, and an incumbent trustee, Catherine Stella. Suter netted 333 votes and Somerville 307, topping Stella's 160 and Reisman's 141. In a group statement Sartecki shared after the polls closed and votes were tallied, he, Reisman, and Stella shared, "We all care about the village and will continue to do what is best for all residents." Sartecki said he will use his remaining 2-year term as a trustee to fight for the village. As for the victors, Suter said he was very happy. "I'm not a man of a lot of words normally. I think the three of us, Mike, Colleen, and I, were running together and we got out to the community," he said. The members of the election showed the community spoke pretty loudly. The numbers right now won't be official until the morning, but unofficial numbers were pretty one-sided. Suter credited the level of outreach he and his fellow candidates had as the reason for what will ultimately be a new face on Youngstown local government. "We had people making phone calls. There were many people going door to door. We had people just calling registered voters and saying, 'Here's our candidates,'" he said. Suter said he believed everyone running had the village's best interest in mind. "Everyone was a qualified candidate," Suter said, "so this is just the way the cards fell this time." In the news, Family Day at Lewiston Museum, courtesy of the Historical Association of Lewiston. Family Day at the Lewiston Museum will be celebrated from 1 to 4 p.m. Sunday, May 31st at 469 Plain Street. The event is a great opportunity to check out the interesting local historical artifacts in the collection. It gets people who have never been to the museum in there, said Patty Mahoney, Executive Director of the Historical Association of Lewiston. "They learn a whole lot about us." Lewiston volunteer Lee Simonson said, "It's the hidden gem that has been delighting visitors for over 50 years. Everything from Indian artifacts found in Lewiston that date back 7,000 years to a rotary dial telephone from the 60s. How many people these days would actually know how a rotary phone works? It's a fascinating place. Visitors can sign up in the museum to be members of the Historical Association. Outside the museum, there will be hot dogs and popcorn for guests to munch on, plus street chalk painting and metal detecting for kids. A portion of Plain Street will be closed temporarily to accommodate guests at Family Day. Beginning June 2nd, the Lewiston Museum will be open 1 to 5 p.m. Tuesdays through Saturdays throughout the summer. For more information, visit historiclewiston.org or call 716-754-4214. Brick Oven. Good food, good times. Article by Karen Carr Keefe. Brick Oven General Manager Nick Manzari has a passion for pleasing people's palates. He says for him, it's in the details. Good food and attractive presentation are high on the list. Also important, he said, is knowing and responding to people's taste and being there to provide a satisfying meal when customers are too tired to cook at home. About a dozen years ago, as the restaurant grew its customer base, it moved from its plaza location behind M&T Bank to its current location at 2457 Grand Island Boulevard. The restaurant's website stresses we have a large selection to choose from that will fit your party's needs. Pizzas, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and more. taste the best pizza around. Manzari also is pleased the restaurant offers gluten-free options, such as cauliflower pizza crust. His personal favorite is a turkey sandwich. Although only 40, Manzari has been in the restaurant business for more than a decade. He returned to the Western New York area and found his calling. I was in the casino business. I was dealing cards. I was a pit boss, all the things, Manzari said. But circumstances, I had to move back home. But I didn't want to work at our casino here, so I needed a job. Brick Oven owner Michael Wilkie invited Manzari to join the team. He said, "Come to my Grand Island location and I'll take care of you." 14 years later, here I am, Manzari said. He said he enjoys being in the food business. "I think I'm just a natural for it. When I was 14, my first job was in a pizzeria. I think I'm one of the lucky ones that got to move up the ladder. If you're just a regular cook, it's a hard wage to make. You get up where I'm at, it's nice to have a little comfort, make my own schedule, be my own boss." He said he was fortunate to be working with Wilk. "Best boss I could have," Manzari said. "I don't know who and how people know him, but you really know him. He's got the biggest heart. He's such a giver." Sabres sparked early preview of summer season. Manzari said there has been a special preview of what the summer season has in store for the restaurant. "We've actually had a sneak peek of how business has been ramping up with the Sabres in the playoffs," he said. "I think it's probably true for every restaurant. It's during maybe January to March it's slow, and then we have to cut staff and payroll and try to stay afloat. And then once we start ramping up, we've gotten so big. This is a new addition in here," he said, gesturing to the restaurant's new glassed-in patio with its elegant yet welcoming vibe. The patio is in its first full year. Its construction was helped along with a $40,000 storefront revitalization grant from Erie County. "We've made more seating available in the back," Manzari explained. He said takeout is a thriving part of our business as well. "The growth of Brick Oven presents challenges and benefits," Manzari said. "Being busy is what keeps a roof over my head. What kind of stinks is that Fantasy Island is not opening up." He said there will be a loss in the tourist component of the customer base, but he expects the eatery will easily make it up in new customers. Quality and convenience grows the business. "I do believe what is proven time and time again. Food costs for us as a business and for the consumer is insane," Manzari said. "I think it's unfair to everybody. So our number one goal is to be as consistent as possible with the quality we put out there. And I think quality is what keeps people coming. Nowadays, people don't really cook at home," he observes. "It feels like the culture back when I was growing up, my mom would cook. Takeout was special. A pizza on a Friday night was like woohoo, or maybe once in a while getting drive-through at McDonald's. Nowadays it's quick, it's convenience. We're not trying to make a mess at home, we're not trying to cook at home." He said the fact that people are always so busy is a big factor driving the trend towards takeout. He added cooking at home isn't necessarily providing the savings that it used to. You've got to cook, you've got to clean. By the time it's done, the food's all gone. It's like, I'd rather just order the food and cut out half the hassle, Manzari said. He said the quality of Brick Oven's food builds a loyal customer base, whether it's a dine-in or takeout. Building a strong staff is important. Although he's the manager, Manzari makes sure to maintain the skills that got him where he is today. A lot of customers will ask if I'm cooking, he said. I've cooked this entire time. He combines his culinary skills with duties such as scheduling, inventory, and delegating staff to take on other responsibilities and grow in the job. The one thing that I was always good at was handling pressure at high volume. We built an amazing staff, he said. He also enjoys meeting and greeting customers, calling himself a people person. Manzari is also happy he was able to bring his brother Rocco into the business as an underboss. He also credits the skills of Dean Barone as another manager who reports to him. Without them, honestly, they're reliable, they're consistent, and they're hardworking. If you don't have the people, it's impossible to do what we are doing here. Manzari said a big component of success in the restaurant business is having the right people. Family experience, helps, and customer service. I like to hire kids in the community, he said. I needed a first job once, and I remember the older guys taking me under their wing. He said he has developed empathy towards customers from his role as a father. Manzari has a daughter who is 16 and a son, 11, who is autistic and nonverbal. Raising him has made me such a better man, Manzari said. He has changed me in ways of, maybe it's empathy, awareness for the world around me. You don't really understand looking at somebody, what they're really going through. Raising my son from what he's gone through has been something I never knew would happen in my life. He said the experience has given him a better understanding of what other people go through. My son struggled, and to see and the fight that we did to get him to where he is today is a big part of Manzari's attitude towards others, he said. I'm going to be the best dad version of myself. He deserves that, Manzari said. Manzari noted that, although his son is autistic, he has taught his dad to relate to all people in a meaningful way. I never knew I had it in me to be that aware. Manzari said that awareness has helped him to manage the restaurant's 100 employees. Manzari said he has worked to build a better culture at the restaurant, one that welcomes families, as well as diners on dates or friends getting together for a good time. You take care of people, they're going to take care of you, Manzari said. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Town of Niagara to hold public hearing on fashion outlets tax deal. Article by Benjamin Joe. A public hearing will be held in the Town of Niagara's main meeting room at 2 p.m. June 2nd to gather input in regard to a proposal for a new tax deal for the Fashion Outlets of Niagara Falls, USA, which is owned by Fashion Outlets 2, LLC, and Marrakech Niagara, LLC. The preliminary acceptance of the applications was voted on by the Niagara County Industrial Development Agency Board on Wednesday, May 13th. Kevin Klein, an attorney representing Macerich, said in the meeting that the tax deal was imperative to the stability and survival of the mall. The Macerich and Fashion Outlet 2 corporations proposed to pay $500,000 in taxes and $100,000 in taxes each year respectively, with a 2% increase each year in taxes for 10 years, as outlined in the project summaries submitted to the NCIDA. As well as those taxes, Macerich pledged $250,000 annually as a host community payment, and Fashion Outlet 2 also pledged $100,000 annually in host community payments to the Town of Niagara. Town of Niagara Supervisor Sylvia Virtuoso said the municipality is definitely very supportive and anything we can do for the mall to get over this tough hurdle right now of e-commerce and lack of Canadian shoppers, and try to get tenants back in the mall because they are absolutely vital to the town and to Niagara County. They provide more than 50% of the sales tax. They employ 800 people. And the surrounding area definitely benefits from the mall being there, as well as the millions of tourists who come to Niagara Falls and have a place to shop. We definitely have been working together to try every resource possible to help the mall stay open and help them until they can get back stronger. Virtuoso also said the host benefit agreements have been active and will not be changed by a new payment in lieu tax deal the companies have proposed. While she is in favor of the new pilot agreement, she characterized it specifically as a Niagara County IDA project. We're in support of the pilot agreement changes because there were two separate pilots done at two separate times. And I believe bringing them together and changing the pilot agreements to benefit them all more is of a help, and we are in full support of that. But it's definitely a Niagara County IDA pilot agreement, Virtuoso said. In other Town of Niagara news, the municipality is upgrading its network infrastructure to improve security, reliability, and energy performance. In a work session held Wednesday, May 13th, Virtuoso said there were real issues with the town's IT system. We have real issues with everything that's out of date, she said. To upgrade the system, the Town of Niagara Board voted to pay Alternative Information Systems, Inc. $11,113.58, which would come out of the energy reduction account. The Town of Niagara Police Department's infrastructure will also be upgraded, while Alternative Information System is working on the network in Town Hall. Thought that the police station servers may not have been malfunctioning and are not in the same shape as the rest of the town's server infrastructure. It has been a long time coming. Our servers, everything goes down, and it's very unsafe with the wiring and the way we have it. I have to say, rigged, Virtuoso said. Everything is going to be cleaned up and taken out. We've been doing it piece by piece, but now we have so many pieces that are actually past their use date. Staley Road, light at the end of the tunnel? Article by Karen Carr Keefe. Staley Road residents may be approaching a turning point in their quest for safe passage. Highway Superintendent Jim Sedita has indicated that Staley Road is on his radar, and repairs and even some repaving could possibly happen in late summer or early fall. For nearly 4 years, residents have pleaded for complete repaving and repairs to the road and its narrow, crumbling shoulders. They have also pushed for a solution to drainage problems on the town-owned and maintained road. At the end of Monday's town board meeting, several Staley Road residents voiced discontent with what they say is a lack of progress towards safety for drivers and pedestrians. On Monday, they complained that very deep potholes on the sides of the road have gone untouched. But on Tuesday morning, Highway Superintendent Jim Sedita said his crews would be out Wednesday to patch the worst of the potholes. And Sedita's list for Staley Road from now through fall includes work on drainage, as well as paving at least a mile of the road, starting with Baseline and going west. When contacted by the Island Dispatch, Sedita said, absolutely, I can have a crew out tomorrow to go up and down the road. Myself and the deputy, John Carncross, did go out 2 weeks ago and do some potholes. We'll go out again tomorrow. Supervisor Peter Marston has previously estimated it would take $2.5 million to repair Staley Road. The town has applied for a federal grant towards that work. Sedita said we're working on bond money right now, and as far as Staley Road, probably within the next 3 weeks we're going to start working on the drainage from Baseline heading out towards West River. And then, with hopes of possibly paving it, late summer into early fall, the first mile from Baseline, it all depends on how the drainage and ditching goes, because that has a lot to go into place first. However far I get, and that's how far we're going to try to get paved. At Monday's town board meeting, it was also about frustration with the pace of progress, and two speakers compared the expense and relative necessity of the planned Veterans Park splash pad, and the expense of fixing Staley Road. Paula Shuck and the Staley Road Steering Committee talked with town officials and thought we hammered out a really nice plan. We thought we had some movement. And crickets, crickets. It's been 4 years, frustrating. Staley Road residents Sherry Kern and Jim Carlson also spoke up. Carlson said there are places with 8 to 12-inch deep potholes right at the edge of the pavement. Kern said the kids on Staley Road can't even ride their bikes, can't walk their dog. We've got cars zooming by. We still have potholes that deep that if you were to go off the road, there would be there to avoid something. Your car would be a mess. You'd be a mess. Please consider Staley Road as a priority. Sedita told the dispatch, we're working on it, and I'm getting bids for repaving too. So it's not like I'm not doing anything. Jolbert prepping for summer season at Lewiston Artisan Farmers Market, readying new baking outlet in Youngstown. Second helping with Joshua Maloney. Upon Rachel Jolbert taking the reins in 2023, the Lewiston Artisan Farmers Market has grown in physical size, number of vendors, and months of operation. Its success and importance to the river region has been mentioned by residents in person, online, and at municipal meetings. Still, that hasn't stopped Jolbert from making tweaks as she works to ensure the weekly Saturday gathering remains special. Whether it was with the addition of prepared foods, the availability of more breakfast and lunch items, or just accepting EBT SNAP benefits, Jolbert has made enhancements to the market each season. For the 2026 summer run, which begins May 30th, along the Cayuga Street side of Academy Park, Jolbert has curated the offerings to focus more on food and farmers. We've got a few new food products, which are always my favorite, she said. We have new bakers and bread bakers, which are also serving prepared food, so that's fun. Jolbert said food is a key element to any good farmer's market, whether that's food you're buying to take home and cook or food you're eating at the market. That's always my favorite part, and what we're kind of trying to curate more of this year. We'll have 8 bakers this season, which is the most we've ever had. Jolbert added, at the same time as we're getting more requests, we're really just trying to figure out what niches we can fill. So, saying someone is a bread baker is different than somebody who does mostly pastries versus pies. We're trying to make sure we fill the gaps and not just having 5 options of the same product. Jolbert explained the Lewiston Farmers Market offers everything from conventionally grown produce to certified naturally grown. Certified naturally grown is like the next best thing to organic. We have farmers who specialize in smaller heirloom crops. We have farmers that will have all of the things that are in the season. Your regular tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini. We have farmers who specialize in lettuces and microgreens. We have our farmers that do meat, so poultry and beef and pork. I feel like a lot of people, when they think of just the word farm, they automatically go to the fruits and vegetables. But we can't forget about the meat farmers, and we can't forget about the beekeepers. Those are also a type of farming. We have 2 beekeepers this year, same ones we had last year. They're tending to the land as much as our farmers are. Their bees are pollinating a lot of the crops. We live in a really rich area with all kinds of agriculture, and so the bees thrive in this area, which is really nice since bee populations all over have kind of been on a decline for the last couple of years. I think it's just pointing out that farms don't just mean fruits and vegetables, that they're the other types of farms as well. The Lewiston Artisan Farmers Market has about 80 vendors lined up right now, with roughly a third who are full-time participants. Hours are 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. each Saturday, save the Peach Festival weekends, staging an event in September. Shull Farmstead farmer owner Aurora Shunk said, "This will be my 5th summer at the market. I continue to return because I love the sense of community at the market, getting to know all the wonderful folks who regularly buy from local farms and small businesses, and I love feeding the community." Jen Nagun, owner of the Sour Crumb Bakery, said, "I love how diverse and friendly. How diverse and friendly Lewiston Farmers Market is. From the different vendors to the customers, everyone just comes together to enjoy each other's company. I can't wait to see how amazing 2026 will be." For more information, visit www.facebook.com/Lewiston Artisan Market. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island, on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. 3 Little Hens moving to Youngstown. Joelbert's own 3 Little Hens Baking Company has been a staple at the Lewiston Artisans Farmers Market, offering homemade and delicious cookies, scones, and specialty pastries. She recently announced the operation will move into a brick and mortar at 120 Lockport Street, Youngstown, and will open this summer. "I have professionally worked in pastry for 18 years, Joelbert said. "The only job I've essentially ever had was in restaurants or in bakeries." Ironically, something I have said every single year has been I will never open a brick and mortar bakery. Joelbert changed her mind when she recalled how much she missed sharing her craft. "I have taught for the last 14 years in some capacity," she said. "I used to teach at the Niagara Falls Culinary Institute. I was an adjunct professor there for 7 years, teaching in the pastry department. I left that in 2021 after having my 3rd child. I missed teaching, so I started hosting cookie decorating classes at Wandering Gypsy Brewing Company. And then also, they reached out to me from Newport Community Ed and Wheatfield Community Ed. I started teaching classes and then really kind of wanted to expand on that. So having a place of my own to teach was really important to me. Moreover, this is my 6th year in business. And after I put an addition on my house and realized I also quickly outgrew that, I have 4 ovens in my residential kitchen. I was actually looking at building something else on my property before learning the Youngstown space was available." Joelbert worked with Deal Realty in acquiring the 1,500 square foot property, which formerly served as a dog grooming business. "I've been baking out of my home with a cottage license for the last 6 years, and this will allow me to expand into different types of products because there are different things that I can bake with the health department certified kitchen," Joelbert said, "and then I will just be expanding on the wholesale accounts that I already have. I'm going to be baking pastries for the new Tom Tower Farm Market right down the street." 3 Little Hens Baking Company is not expected to be a full-time public eatery. It has a very small 100 square foot, what I'm calling a micro cafe. It will seat about 10 people, and it will be open for reservations, Joelbert said. "My thought is book clubs or even like team building, if they want to come and have a lunch and then do a cooking class at the same time. There's a space for everyone to sit, and then I may open for things like if there's big events at Fort Niagara, like a soccer tournament." For more information, email rjoelbert26@gmail.com. FASNY offers grilling safety tips ahead of the summer season. submitted by the Firefighters Association of the State of New York. As grills get ready to fire up across the country around Memorial Day, the Firefighters Association of the State of New York, FASNY, is reminding New Yorkers of standard grill safety guidelines to prevent accidents and serious injuries. May, June, July, and August are peak months for grill fires. Data from the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, shows that between 2019 and 2023, gas grills were involved in an average of 9,287 home fires per year, including 4,682 structure fires and 4,605 outdoor fires, with 1/5 of these fires stemming from uncleaned grills. Additionally, according to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, an average of 21,682 people visited emergency rooms each year between 2020 and 24 due to grill-related injuries. With the summer approaching, the unofficial start of summer, we know after a long winter, many families will be gathering to enjoy sunshine, barbecue food, great vibes, and meaningful time together, said Gene Perry, FASNY president. We want to make sure those memories remain positive and joyful, and they start with prioritizing grill safety and practicing it every time you cook outside. Following the important tips below from the NFPA and FASNY can keep everyone safe. Propane and charcoal barbecue grills should only be used outdoors. The grill should be placed well away from the home, deck railings, and out from under eaves and overhang branches. Grills should not be used in garages, even if the garage door is open. Keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from the grill area. Keep your grill clean by removing grease or fat buildup from the grills and in trays below the grill. Never leave your grill unattended while in use. Keep a fire extinguisher nearby in case of a grill fire. Call 911 if the fire is serious or sustained or extends outside of the cooking area of the grill. Always make sure your gas grill lid is open before lighting it. For propane grills, check gas tanks for leaks. Founded in 1872, FASNY represents the interests of volunteer firefighters and emergency medical personnel across New York. For more information, visit fasny.com. Q&A. Ryan Bingham to bring new songs and Texas Gentleman to Art Park. Still Getting Away with It tour stop kicks off Art Park's summer concert calendar. Article by Joshua Maloney. When depicting Ryan Bingham, there's no shortage of available descriptions. Former rodeo act and vagabond turned barroom performer and country Americana musician. Oscar and Grammy Award-winning artist, recognized for The Weary Kind from Jeff Bridges' Crazy Heart. Actor on Yellowstone as Ranch Hand Walker. Bourbon proprietor, Bingham's Bourbon. Husband and father, married to Yellowstone co-star Hassie Harrison. On May 29th, Bingham will add another title, Art Park Headliner. He will pair with acclaimed outfit The Texas Gentleman, who also appear on his new album, They Call Us the Lucky Ones, to kick off the 2026 concert season at the premier Lewiston venue. Man, I just remember everybody being very, very hospitable and warm and welcoming, and I look forward to it, Bingham said, returning to Western New York. This whole tour has been something I've been looking forward to for a while. It's been, gosh, I don't know, maybe almost 10 years since I've kind of been up through the Midwest to the East Coast like this. I don't know what to expect, and I like that as well. That spirit of embracing life without a set plan has done Bingham well thus far, and it informed the way in which he and the Texas Gentleman crafted Bingham's new album, his first full length in 7 years. Well known for his gritty voice and world-worn storytelling, Bingham sought to up the ante on this project by re-teaming with an act that previously supported Chris Christopherson, George Strait, Leon Bridges, and Shaky Graves. As seen in the juxtaposition of the video for Lucky Ones and its lyrics, this album is a reminder of the personal and professional struggles that shaped Bingham's youth, as well as a celebration of the hard work and hard fought for friends and family who have joined him on life's journey. Bingham will bring his songs and stories to Art Park Main Stage Theater for an 8 p.m. show on May 29th. There is no opener. Tickets are available online at www.artpark.net and at the box office, 450 South 4th Street, Lewiston. The Troubadour shared more in this edited Q&A. Question: I've already seen one critic say they call us the lucky ones is worth the wait. The 7 years in between your albums. It was worth the wait to that critic. I guess the question is, was it worth the wait to you? And do you think it will be worth the wait for the fans? And the answer, well, from Ryan Bingham, well, I sure hope so. I really enjoy the songs and the company of the Texas Gentlemen. They're a great band. I've been having a lot of fun playing shows with these guys. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Question: You have released music, of course, over the past 7 years, but, as I mentioned, this is your first full-length album in 7 years. Obviously, one or two things have happened in the world, and to everyone, personally, in the past 7 years. What made this the right time to put together an album? Ryan Bingham answer: You just kind of base it on when you have songs and new stuff to share with people. I've always continued to write and kind of gather up songs. And over the past years, I've written these songs and have been playing them with the band, playing a few local shows around, and just kind of base it off of that. Question: Tell me more about this idea of the lucky ones, because we see in that video in particular all the amazing things that are happening in your life. But certainly you've had to overcome a lot in your life. Tell me more about this idea of the lucky ones. Who are the lucky ones, and what are you trying to share as it relates to that idea? Answer from Ryan Bingham: I think it's something that a lot of people could relate to. Things don't just happen overnight. Things have a story to them. Things have a past and present. I think it's reflecting on all the pain that you go through in life and having gratitude at the end of the day to get to where you've gotten, and maybe survive some of the hard things and appreciate the good stuff in life. I think it's a mix of that. Question: When people see you up on stage, successful, having a good time with your band, when they see and know you've overcome family and financial struggles, does it make your music more relatable? Do you find that your fans are more appreciative of your journey? Do you find that it gives them encouragement for the things they're going through in their lives? Answer from Ryan Bingham: I think it has to be about that in one way or the other. I think it's what it's all about, is sharing experiences with people and creating art and music that's honest and talks about things you've actually been through, and having people relate to that and share their own stories or experiences about what that means to them. I think that's what, at least for me, live music and performing is for people, and telling stories and hearing their stories. It all goes hand in hand. You can't have one believe the other. I very much believe in that. Question: the Texas Gentlemen is a group that has such an amazing pedigree. You mentioned you've been having a lot of fun with those guys. Tell me how you got hooked up with them and what they've brought to you as a performer. Answer from Ryan Bingham: just a lot of confidence. Those guys have been playing as a unit for quite a while, and they backed a lot of great artists and musicians. I first met them several years ago. I wasn't touring much. I had a show in Fort Worth, Texas that was sold out, and I needed a band for the show. They were recommended to me by a good friend of mine named Charlie Sexton. I called them up and asked them if they would come play a show. Called them up and see if they could play a show with me, and they said, yeah, no problem. They said, send us some songs and we'll work them up and we'll meet you there. We literally met in Fort Worth. We didn't rehearse. We just got up and played the show, and it went off without a hitch. To have that kind of chemistry with musicians on stage that you can kind of read each other's mind, so to speak, is very rare. That was something I think we all realized very early on, that we just all connected and we grew up on the same kinds of music and have a lot of the same influences. So it just came natural for all of us. And that was something that felt good from the start. Question: we know that this show at Art Park is going to be a lot of fun. And we also know, looking at your website, there's no opener. Gotta be early or gonna be late. Beyond those two things, what can you tell me about your live show? Answer from Ryan Bingham: we've really embraced this kind of traveling type of musical festival type experience, I guess you'd say. We've had 2 sets with an intermission in between. We found that we've all enjoyed playing a bit earlier shows. Most of the time we start about 8 o'clock, and the show's done by 10 or 10:30. It's just we have a lot more songs these days than we used to, so fans have been wanting to hear more songs. When we have more time to play, we can really mix it up. We have the full band for stuff, and some things will break down and play acoustically and strip down for some songs. It's been a great way to kind of introduce more dynamics to the show. And then the intermission experiences have been great. We've got some great bar stuff set up and things in between for people to do and enjoy. There's more of a visual art experience as well. It's just all the way around. It's something we feel proud of. Like curating more of an experience for the fans than just your typical kind of concert. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island, on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Niagara Post Theater to launch summer concert series. Actually, it's already launched. The Niagara Post Theater will launch its inaugural summer concert series this month, beginning with Jazz at the Post on May 24th, which was already, featuring local ensemble Brass Chants performing Miles Davis's groundbreaking album, Kind of Blue. Events are held outdoors at Fort Niagara State Park. More details on the events will be forthcoming, but the jazz schedule will include the 4 p.m. last Sunday in honor of Miles Davis's 100th birthday. It was the performance of the iconic album Kind of Blue at the Post Theater outdoor stage. The event is free, with donations requested to continue the renovation work of the historic Post Theater at Fort Niagara. The band includes musicians Jerry and Claudia Andres, Julie Winden, Mark Miller, Rachel Berkman, and Jim Jeremka. Attendees are invited to bring chairs and blankets and join the Post Theater for the inaugural event of the 2026 Summer Series. Shakespeare at the Post, 7 p.m. Saturday, June 6th, and 2 p.m. Sunday, June 7th. Rockin' at the Post, 1 to 5 p.m. Sunday, July 26th. 1776, the musical, 2 and 5:30 p.m. Saturday, August 2nd, and 2 p.m. Sunday, August 23rd. Oktoberfest, 1 to 5 p.m. Sunday, September 13th. All events are free and open to the public. For more information, email niagaraposttheater@gmail.com. Niagara Post Theater is located at 6 Porter Avenue, Youngstown, and online at niagaraposttheater.org. More about the Niagara Post Theater. The Niagara Post Theater is one of the last surviving structures from Fort Niagara's early 20th century era, a building that once served as a place of recreation, morale, and connection for the service members and families who lived and worked there. Within its walls, generations gathered for films, performances, and shared moments of community life. Today, the historic theater stands ready for its new chapter, one that preserves its legacy while transforming it into a living center for creativity, education, and cultural exchange. Nonprofit Niagara Post Theater, Inc. is leading the effort to restore and renovate the building and return it to active use as a regional arts and education hub. Once restored, the theater will host a diverse range of programming: children's theater, arts education workshops, live performances, film screenings, and musical events. These offerings will nurture local and regional talent, engage youth and families, and attract visitors, stimulating both cultural vitality and economic activity within the community. Art Park receives cultural endowment funding, part of Niagara County legislator support for Arts and Culture Coalition of Niagara County. Niagara County 2nd District Legislature Michael Casali presented Art Park and Company President Dave Wedelkind with a check for $81,880 on Monday. Outside of the Lewiston Performing and Visual Arts venue, funding comes from the county's portion of Western Region Off-Track Betting Corp funds. At the Niagara County Legislature's March 24th session, legislators unanimously voted to approve a resolution in support of the organizations in Niagara County through the use of cultural endowment funding. The measure stated, whereas cultural endowment funds help support numerous organizations across Niagara County that are important to local communities, and whereas the various organizations and groups throughout Niagara County help with cultural enrichment programs for our community and citizens of all ages, and whereas these organizations attract visitors from all over Western New York and from around the world, creating a significant economic impact in our communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Niagara County Legislature authorized the allocation of funding in the amount of $295,000 for the Cultural Endowment Fund through the 2026 budget process. And be it further resolved that Niagara County supports the organizations listed below for appropriating $295,000 from said cultural endowment funds as follows: Art Park and Company Lewiston, $81,880. Annual visitation, 5-year average, $125,000. Niagara Aquarium Foundation, doing business as the Aquarium of Niagara, Niagara Falls, $62,170. Annual visitation, $190,000. Old Fort Niagara, Youngstown, $23,452. Annual visitation, $200,000. Keenan Center, Lockport, $24,910. Annual visitation, $15,000. Castellani Art Museum, Niagara University, $8,548. Annual visitation, $21,000. Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, Niagara Falls, $9,115. Annual visitation, $23,000. Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Commission, Niagara Falls, $11,491. Annual visitation, $15,000. Carousel Society of the Niagara Frontier, doing business as the Herschel Carousel Factory Museum in North Tonawanda, $7,792. Annual visitation, $17,500. Or no, $17,500. The West Her Riviera Theater, North Tonawanda, $48,994. Annual visitation was not provided. Historic Palace Theater in Lockport, $16,648,000. Annual visitation was not provided. Art Park. Art Park in Lewiston opened in 1974, championed by New York State Senator Earl W. Bridges. It is unique in the U.S. for combining a 150-acre state park and performing arts center. It was envisioned as a space to enjoy live theatrical performances, concerts, dance, and the creation of visual performance and other experimental art in a scenic, accessible, and family-oriented setting. The nonprofit organization Art Park and Company operates the public programming at the park under a cooperative agreement with the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation. It just signed a new 20-year agreement. Art Park and Company is committed to investing at least $2 million in capital improvements to the state park over the life of the new cooperative agreement. Art Park and Company is committed. Last summer, Art Park and Company welcomed over 85,000 people to a wide variety of concerts, performing and visual arts events, festivals, art classes for children and adults. It has 9 full-time year-round employees, 200 plus seasonal workers, and about 80 community volunteers. Art Park is a critical anchor for local businesses, tourism, and regional identity. In terms of economic and community impact, Art Park and Company generates approximately $13 million in annual economic impact for Lewiston, Niagara County, and Western New York. Caselli said Art Park is one of a number of organizations in the Arts and Culture Coalition of Niagara County that offers cultural enrichment programs for citizens of all ages while attracting visitors from all over Western New York and around the world. You've been listening to a reading of Articles and Features from the May 22nd, 2026 issue of the Tribune Sentinel, covering Niagara County and Grand Island. We read from the Tribune Sentinel every Saturday at 4 p.m. Your reader has been Bruce. Thank you for listening, and as always, make it a great day.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. Following that at 6 o'clock is the Jamestown Post Journal. And at 7 o'clock, we have the Niagara Falls Review. Stay with us for these readings and more. If you or people you know shop at any of the Dash's supermarkets, please save Dash's register tapes for radio reading. Our agency receives $2 for every $100 in Dash's register tapes. Radio reading has raised thousands of dollars so far. Anyone can drop off their Dash's tapes to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, between William and Clinton Streets. Or Dash's tapes can be mailed to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227. Any questions on Dash's tapes for radio reading? Call us at 716-821-5555, and thanks for caring. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability,